After a disappointing 2024, is there more pressure on Kyle Busch or Richard Childress in 2025? How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Happy Friday, folks. Got some news I'd like to discuss. Then I want to spend some time talking about Kyle Busch, Richard Childress Racing, expectations for 2025 and beyond. But first, for a limited time, if you purchase a year-long subscription to NASCAR Pole Position magazine, they'll throw in an Out of the Groove Halloween Machine 1/64 scale diecast. Head to dailydownforce.com/shop or click the link down in the description. Several NASCAR Pole Position bundles are available. It's a great deal, and the price you see even includes shipping. So be sure to check out NASCAR Pole Position magazine. Link is down below. Also, before I go any further, if you're headed to Daytona International Speedway next week, stop by the NASCAR Experience stage to see me and NASCAR Xfinity Series driver Brennan Poole live on Friday and Saturday. We are doing two live stage shows, two meet and greets, Friday just before the truck race and Saturday in between the ARCA and Xfinity events. Should be a good conversation, great chance to come say howdy. Hope to see y'all there. All right, let's begin with some news from the Sports Business Journal. Adam Stern reports that Sunoco's deal as the official fuel of NASCAR expires at the end of this season, and no extension has been reached. He reports that NASCAR is expected to meet with other fuel brands in the coming weeks, though it is still possible they could renew with Sunoco. It's hard for me to imagine a modern NASCAR without Sunoco. I mean, look, the logo just blends perfectly into my backdrop here. I'm sure fans will point out, Shell Pennzoil or Mobil 1 could step up, but they're already involved with specific NASCAR teams, so there could be an awkward conflict of interest there. Could 76 return? ConocoPhillips? I think Exxon merged with Mobil, so I don't know how that would work. Stern notes in this article, which I'll link down below, that Sunoco sold many of its convenience stores to 7-Eleven a few years ago. 7-Eleven, the official fuel of NASCAR. Actually, you know what gas station would make a lot of sense? Buc-ee's. Yeah, fueled by beaver nuggets. No, that probably wouldn't catch on. This could be a very interesting story to follow over the next few months. Just wanted to bring it to y'all's attention. But now let's talk about pressure. New season means new expectations. I started to think about which teams are under the most pressure, and pretty quickly, I zeroed in on Richard Childress Racing. Austin Dillon, the 3, used to be a regular playoff contender, but the past 2 seasons they finished 29th and 32nd in points. And Kyle Busch is coming off the first winless season of his NASCAR Cup Series career. And I know it's early to bring up free agency in February, but last season it was reported by Lee Spencer, Catchfence.com, that Kyle Busch originally signed a 2-year deal with RCR with a team option for 2025 that obviously RCR exercised. But that would suggest that Kyle Busch is now in a contract year with no sure thing planned for 2026. We also remember last year when Kyle Busch openly stated he would like to return to Hendrick or Joe Gibbs at some point. Remember when he said this? Anything is possible, always. If JGR welcomed me back, I would go back. If Hendrick welcomed me back, I would go back. So yeah, I don't think this is necessarily a lame duck season from the start. There is a good chance Kyle Busch and Richard Childress Racing reach an agreement beyond this year, sign an extension. But by no means is that a guarantee, which is why I say there is a ton of pressure on both driver and especially the team. Kyle Busch is about to turn 40 years old, contract year. His job is to convince not only RCR, but other top teams in the garage that he's still got it, that he's still that guy that won 2 championships in the 2010s. He's looking to snap a 57 race winless streak. And say things aren't going the right direction with RCR, what other options are on the table? Sure, Denny Hamlin's status with Joe Gibbs Racing is somewhat unclear, especially without an anchor sponsor. Alex Bowman could get bought out by Hendrick Motorsports, but Ally loves him. And even though Tim Cindric is taking a step back, I don't see Austin getting the boot this year. Imagine Kyle Busch and Joey Logano in the same Team Penske competition meetings. So there's no guarantee a better option is going to be available. So that's why there's pressure on Kyle Busch. But I would still argue there's more pressure on Richard Childress, frankly. It's not often that a generational talent basically falls into your lap, but that's what happened in 2022 when Kyle Busch became available. And they got off to a hot start in 23. RCR Kyle Busch won 3 races the first half of that season, and then it's been rocky ever since. Richard Childress Racing has not won a Cup Series championship in decades, not since Dale Earnhardt Sr., and they've had Hall of Fame caliber drivers behind the wheel. Kevin Harvick for many seasons. Obviously Kyle Busch the past couple. They got close with Ryan Newman in 2014. RCR's performance has fallen off a cliff the past couple of years. I mentioned Austin Dillon's points finishes. People are starting to ask, when is Austin Dillon going to move upstairs into an executive role? Kyle Busch right now is the only person seemingly keeping their Cup program relevant. And if he walks away, if he does get a better offer elsewhere, what's Richard Childress Racing going to do? Are they going to promote Austin Hill? He's good. He's not Kyle Busch. Are they going to promote Jesse Love? I love Jesse Love, but he's still so young. I'm not convinced he'll be Cup Series ready. Maybe they'll bring in Ty Dillon? I mean, come on. RCR landing Kyle Busch wasn't a trade, obviously, but it's like the Lakers landing Luka Doncic. You can't mess this up. You've been gifted a generational talent. You can't fumble the bag. That's why I say there is a ton of pressure on Richard Childress Racing this season. Again, I still think there's a great chance Kyle Busch and Richard Childress Racing get a new deal done, sign an extension. But when Kyle Busch said those things last summer about Hendrick and Gibbs, I don't think that was him just being blunt. I don't think that was an unintentional slip of the tongue. I think he was putting feelers out there. He knew that 19 car could become available. Those Alex Bowman rumors, what about the 48? He was putting feelers out there. And this year, same questions could be asked about the 48. And instead of the 19, what about the 11 at Gibbs? Kyle Busch may still be putting feelers out there. So pressure is on Richard Childress Racing to convince Kyle Busch, a future Hall of Famer, a 2-time champion, still in or very near his prime. I know he hasn't won much the last few years, but he's not even 40 years old yet. Harvick, Kenseth, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, obviously, so on and so on. Truex kept winning races well into their 40s. Denny Hamlin is doing it right now. Kyle Busch may not be at the peak of his powers, especially with this new car, but he's still very, very, very good. Richard Childress Racing should want him to stay. They need to prove to Kyle Busch early this season that they can give him race-winning equipment, playoff contending equipment. If not, I think Kyle Busch will be quick to put one foot out the door. That's my preseason prediction, I should say. Do you agree? Do you think RCR and Kyle Busch are under a ton of pressure to start this year? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching this video, y'all. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more NASCAR news, rumors, content, commentary every single day. And a big thank you to my Patreon supporters. Again, if you're headed to Daytona next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Brennan Poole and I will be doing a live show, 2 different live shows at the NASCAR Experience stage. It's in the Midway. It's before you go into the grandstands. Hope you're able to stop by. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks again for tuning in, folks. I'll talk to you again soon.